The answer choices to this question make it very clear that we are testing punctuation, but specifically the fact that there's a period here makes me think I need to be really careful of how these sentences are put together. Where do sentences begin and end? Are there going to be run-on sentences, or is it all just one big idea? So let's take a look, and as we do, I am going to show you where I would maybe skip over things. So researcher Lin Ji developed a process for increasing the tensile strength of silkworm silk. Right, so notice what I did. I crossed out this part in the double dash there, because what do double dashes do? They show us extra information. So that's just an interruption to the sentence, and the SAT is purposely putting it there because they know it's going to interrupt your thought process. It's going to interrupt your ability to solve this question. So we're better off just kind of skipping it. That lets us kind of put the sentence back together in a shorter form. And then I also stopped with the word silk because I have a period or a comma. So I'm trying to think, okay, that's where it would break. And does that sound like a sentence? Researcher Lin Ji developed a process for increasing the tensile strength of silkworm silk. Yeah, sounds like she found a process of, that's the end of the thought. That's the end of the sentence. So that's okay, but let's see what comes after that. Let's basically test out choice D and see how that sounds with everything else that's going on. By dissolving and reweaving the silk in a solution of iron metal ions, zinc, and sugar, G increased the amount of force required to stretch it from approximately 0.5 GPa to 2 GPa. Okay, I heard it. This is another sentence, but there are other pieces to this sentence to confuse you. The main sentence is here. Z increased the amount of force. Now that, plus the sentence we had originally. Researcher Lin Ji developed a process for increasing the tensile strength of silkworm silk. Right? Those two sentences could exist on their own, but what choices A, B, and C are trying to do is connect them insufficiently. We need more than just a comma or nothing at all to connect these sentences. So the answer is choice D. We need that period. So a few things though about these wrong answers, right? So first of all, what they're trying to do with choice A is just give us the pause without the actual break. A comma by itself is not enough to join two sentences, so that gets rid of A. Now, a comma with a conjunction, like the word and, is enough to join two sentences. So C is close, but notice they inserted the conjunction, but they did not put the comma with it. So that's why this is wrong. The and by itself is not strong enough, just like a comma by itself is not strong enough. We need them both together to join two complete sentences. But what's weird here is the immediate things that we're joining aren't really the sentences, it's this green sentence with an extra clause that is leading in to the yellow sentence, right? So think about this. By dissolving and reweaving the silk in a solution of iron metal ions, zinc, and sugar, that's an intro. It's getting into something. Now, we only know that because once we figured everything else out and saw the sentences, we knew that a period would have to separate that by from the previous piece. But this is why you always need to read the full sentence for any punctuation question. They want us to read it like this. Researcher Lin Ji developed a process for increasing the tensile strength of silkworm silk by dissolving and reweaving the silk in a solution of iron metal ions, zinc, and sugar. Period there. That's how they want us to think about it. And that is a totally legit sentence. It's just not the one we were given. So the trap answer is B, because that is another way of taking this extra clause and weaving it in to the sentences that were given. But we can't then just go into the next sentence from that. So it is totally legit to take that extra clause that starts with by and put it on the first sentence that I've highlighted in green. It's totally fine to do that if we then ended the sentence after the word sugar. And plus, it ends in a list, so that all those commas are trying to confuse this as well. So this is definitely a question that was meant to trick you, but by looking at the answer choices first and thinking about the potential rules involved, we were able to kind of make sure we were thorough. We read everything. We were thinking about sentence structure as we were reading, and we were able to cross things out that we knew wouldn't matter. So all of those skills were really easy to deploy here because we knew what to expect, and we knew the SAT might try to trick us. So remember that the grammar rules are fixed in stone, but they are very good on the SAT about trying to make you think one rule applies when something else does. So just make sure you always read the full sentence whenever there are punctuation questions so that you don't fall for the trap like they have in choice B here.